In the darkest corners of reality, where the veil between our world and the next is thin, strange happenings are not uncommon. Meet Dr. Morgan, a man of intellect and reason, a renowned scientist who prides himself on his rationality. A skeptic to his core, he stands firmly in the realm of the tangible, the explainable, the scientific. Ghosts, spirits, and the supernatural are mere figments of the imagination to him, nothing more than stories spun by the superstitious and the gullible. But as fate would have it, Dr. Morgan finds himself moving into a grand old mansion, a relic from a bygone era with an aura of antique charm. This mansion, however, carries with it a history as rich as it is eerie. Whispers of strange occurrences, of phantom footsteps echoing in the halls, of spectral figures glimpsed in the corner of the eye, have long swirled around it. It is said that the boundary between the living and the departed is blurred within these aged walls. But to Dr. Morgan, these are nothing more than fanciful tales, mere cobwebs of folklore clinging to the mansion's storied past. The mansion, with its sprawling rooms and labyrinthine corridors, stands imposingly amidst a landscape of towering trees and whispering winds. Its grandeur is tinged with an unsettling quiet, a silence that seems to hum with secrets of the past. The mansion is a world unto itself, a world that seems to exist out of time, out of place. It's a world where the echo of the past is as real as the ticking of the clock. And it's here, in this mansion draped in mystery and cloaked in shadows, that our skeptic Dr. Morgan is about to set up his abode. He, a man of reason, who has dedicated his life to the pursuit of verifiable truth, is about to step into a realm where reason holds little sway. He is about to delve into a world that thrives in the twilight zone of the explainable and the inexplicable. Dr. Morgan, a man of reason, was about to face the inexplicable, in the very heart of his new home. Dr. Morgan, an ardent disbeliever of the supernatural, soon found his skepticism tested. In the quiet corners of his expansive Victorian mansion, the eminent scientist began to notice a series of unexplainable phenomena. It all started with strange noises, sinister whispers that seemed to seep from the very walls, echoing in the silence of the night. The creak of old timber, the tap-tap-tap of an unseen entity, a low, mournful hum that seemed to resonate from nowhere and everywhere at once. Then, there were the shadows. Appearing in places where no light dared to reach, they danced and flickered, elusive and unpredictable. They were dark figures, creeping at the edge of sight, darting away the moment Dr. Morgan attempted to focus on them. They moved in ways that defied the natural laws of light, adding an eerie layer to the already chilling ambience of the mansion. But perhaps most unsettling was the feeling of being watched. A constant, prickling sensation that sent a shiver down his spine, made the hair on the back of his neck stand on end. It was a presence that couldn't be seen, but was undeniably felt. An unseen observer, whose gaze seemed to burn into his very soul. Dr. Morgan, a man of science and reason, tried to rationalize these strange occurrences. He blamed the noises on the age of the house, the creaking timbers settling into their century-old foundations. The shadows, he attributed to tricks of the eye, the result of spending too many hours in the dimly lit corners of his study. The feeling of being watched, he dismissed as a product of his overactive imagination, stoked by the isolation of the mansion. Yet, there was a part of him, a small, nagging voice that refused to be silenced. It whispered doubts in his ear, challenging his firmly held beliefs. It was this voice that made him question, made him wonder if there was more to these events than met the eye. As the mysteries deepened, so did Dr. Morgan's unease. Behind every creak and shadow, it seemed as though an unseen entity lurked. This was the unsettling reality Dr. Morgan found himself immersed in. The old mansion, once a place of scientific study and pursuit, had morphed into a playground of the paranormal. Every day brought with it a fresh bout of inexplicable occurrences. It was as if the mansion was alive, breathing with an eerie life of its own. The books, once neatly arranged on the grand mahogany shelves, would often find themselves flung across the room, as if an invisible hand had swatted them away in a fit of rage. The peaceful silence of the night was punctured by whispers, whispers that seemed to echo from the very walls of the mansion. They were indistinct, yet chilling, like a cold wind that sends shivers down your spine. But perhaps the most unsettling of all was the ghostly figure. Dr. Morgan, a man of science, found himself questioning his own sanity as he caught glimpses of this ethereal entity. It was a spectral silhouette, wandering aimlessly through the corridors, its presence marked by a sudden drop in temperature and an overwhelming sense of dread. Our good doctor, once a beacon of rationality and logic, was being consumed by fear. Each creak, each shadow, each whisper, sent his heart racing, his palms sweating. His once beloved mansion had become a labyrinth of terror, with the ghostly presence at its heart. Dr. Morgan found himself torn between his scientific beliefs and the chilling reality he was experiencing. The mansion, once a symbol of grandeur and a monument to his achievements, was now a twisted caricature of its former self. Its once inviting halls were now shrouded in an aura of dread, its grandeur replaced by an oppressive heaviness that seemed to hang in the air. As the nights grew darker and the paranormal activities escalated, Dr. Morgan's fear turned into terror. His once rational mind was now plagued with confusion and an unshakable feeling of unease. The mansion, once a symbol of grandeur, had turned into a house of horrors. In the face of terror, the truth often reveals itself in the most horrifying ways. When we delve into the annals of the mansion's history, we find a tale steeped in heartache and tragedy. The mansion was once the home of a wealthy aristocrat, a man known for his reclusive nature and peculiar habits. He lived alone, save for a small staff, and was rarely seen in the bustling social circles of his time. It was this man, this mysterious figure of solitude, who met an untimely end within these very walls. His death was shrouded in enigma, a mystery that was whispered about in hushed tones among the townsfolk. The official report stated natural causes, but those who knew the man personally, those who had glimpsed his life behind the mansion's imposing doors, they believed otherwise. You see, this man, this recluse, was said to have been tormented by visions. He spoke of strange occurrences, of feeling a cold, inescapable presence that seemed to permeate every room, every nook and cranny of the mansion. Sound familiar? Indeed, these are the very same experiences that our dear Dr. Morgan has been grappling with. The flickering lights, the unexplainable sounds, the feeling of being watched, the chilling sensation of not being alone. Could it be that the ghost of the mansion's former resident has never truly left? The more we learn about this mansion's past, the more the pieces of the puzzle begin to fall into place. The spectral presence that Dr. Morgan has been experiencing, it's not some unknown, faceless entity. It's the lingering spirit of a man who once walked these halls, a man who died under perplexing circumstances, a man whose spirit, it seems, has been forever tethered to this mansion. The terrifying truth that we must confront is this: Dr. Morgan is not living alone. He shares his home with a specter, a ghost eternally bound to the mansion, unable to find peace, unable to move on. Dr. Morgan was living with a ghost, a specter tied to the mansion by its tragic past. As the veil between the living and the dead thinned, Dr. Morgan had to confront his worst fears. The chilling air that hung in the mansion was now thick with the scent of fear. The once skeptical scientist found himself standing toe-to-toe with the spectral form of the mansion's previous inhabitant, a confrontation that would shatter his disbelief. The apparition, with its ethereal glow, was not a mere trick of the light or a figment of an overactive imagination. It was as real as the fear that gripped Dr. Morgan's heart. It stared back at him with eyes that held centuries of sorrow, its gaze piercing his very soul. The ghost's presence was a testament to the existence of the supernatural, a reality Dr. Morgan had dismissed until that heart-stopping moment. Dr. Morgan, a man of science and reason, found his skepticism crumbling under the weight of this spectral encounter. He could deny it no longer. The ghost was real. The haunting was real. The fear was real. And the mansion, once a place of intrigue and mystery, was now a house of horrors that he had no wish to continue inhabiting. His decision was swift. With a heart heavier than the fog that blanketed the mansion, he chose to leave, to abandon the place that had transformed him from a skeptic to a believer. He packed his bags, his scientific instruments, his notes, and left the mansion, leaving behind the ghost and its sorrowful gaze. In his departure, Dr. Morgan carried with him not just his belongings, but a newfound respect for the mysteries that lay beyond the realm of the living. His encounter with the ghost was not just a confrontation of fear but a confrontation of his own beliefs. In the face of the inexplicable, even the most rational minds can be swayed. Dr. Morgan's encounter serves as a chilling reminder of the mysteries that lie beyond our understanding. And so, we leave the haunted mansion, its spectral inhabitant, and a transformed Dr. Morgan, forever changed by his chilling encounter. Thank you again for joining us for another video. If you liked the video, please like, subscribe and comment down below and let us know what you would like to hear in the near future. See you all again soon.